May the Forte be with you, Mississippi Dukes. This is the Mississippi King welcoming y'all back to more Let's Play Mega Man 7. And in the last episode, we defeated 4 new robot masters. We defeated Burst Man and all of the next 4, except for Spring Man, of course. And in this episode, we're gonna beat Spring Man, but first, I wanted to backtrack to Shade Man's stage. And basically, the jack-o'-lanterns that you fight, and it can actually be killed in 2 ways. If you attack the eyes, then it opens the path that leads to the energy balancer. That's what I got in the last episode. But if you shoot the core and kill it that way, then you can actually open up a path below, and that's going to lead us to a new thing that we can get. But it's also guarded by a Secretary Joe. You know how that is. It's frickin' Secretary Joes! Or, you know, whatever they're called. But if we head this way, then we'll actually be able to enter into a secret. Because that's pretty freaking obvious. So, brother, you are not as weak as I thought. Let's see which of us father made stronger. So yeah, we actually get to fight with Proto Man, and he's not that much harder than he was in Mega Man 3. I mean, it's a bit more complicated, but still, if you keep up what I'm doing, then you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Get ready to jump when he shoots, and to jump over him when he dashes towards you. He's not that hard, actually. You just need to keep up this pattern, and he'll go down ridiculously easy. It's not even funny just how easy this is. When he starts jumping, then you may want to watch out, but what you want to do is to, like, jump out of the way so that you can avoid him and his shot. In fact, we're just about done with the fight right now. Maybe you are the superior model, Mega Man. Here, take this with you. This is your Proto Shield. You can't give this to me. It's okay. Take it. And watch your back. So yeah, we can actually get Proto Man's shield. This isn't quite as cool as you may think, because, like, sure you can use it, but it's like you have to manually equip it. Like, by pausing the game, you can't just use a quick select or anything like that. It's not just like an addition that adds to your arsenal or whatnot. And I died. So yeah, it's like, you can't really use it very well, but I'll try to show it off to the best of my ability. I mean, since I'm heading on this path, I may as well, like, show where it leads. But this route is actually quite different from the other one, because it has an interesting gimmick. You can use the Scorch Wheel to light the candles this way, or you can use the Thunderbolt to make your path visible. It doesn't last very long, the Thunderbolt. It doesn't quite last that long. And there's also an elevator sequence, and it's like, this isn't a challenge, you just need to, like, shoot them zombies that attack the robot zombies. The junk shield definitely comes in handy a lot. I've been showing it off quite a bit, and I love the junk shield, and I'm telling you, it is a really freaking awesome weapon. But eventually the paths will converge, and since it's close to the boss room, we can just leave. And that's what I'm gonna do. And so next up, we're going to actually tackle Spring Man. I realized I may have implied that there's more backtracking in this episode than there actually is, but no, really all we need to do is to just tackle Spring Man's stage, and we're done. Well, I mean, we still need to tackle Willy. And yes, I do insist on making fun of Willy, of Dr. Willy, like, seriously. That's a typo, and I'm going to make fun of you if you make some typos. The 90s. I may have been born in the 90s myself, but I sure do love making fun of it. I sure do love making fun of that decade. I've been born in it, but I don't care. Still a pretty ridiculous decade, filled with, like, horrible translation that, well, okay, to be fair, it did get better by the end of the decade. Also, infamous voice acting. When we get to Mega Man 8, oh boy, I am going to have a field day. Standards were lower back then. It's kind of how I feel about the early days of YouTube. It's like, some of the stuff that many of the early YouTubers did, it's like, those are things that would not fly these days. I'm thinking particularly of Clement, because, like, I'm a huge fan of him, but his early LPs were, let's just say we had lower standards back then. I mean, like, audio quality just wasn't something I was that interested in. Also, note that this is Spring Man's stage. I get the feeling Sonic would be here. And Death would also be there, because I fell into a bit of spikes. But, yeah, in all seriousness, this does strike me as a place that would not be out of place in a Sonic game. Well, I mean, besides for the fact that it's kind of slow-paced, and that it requires the use of the Rush Jet adapter, or rather the Super adapter. I'm confusing that with Mega Man 6. This is not Mega Man 6. And it's arguably better than Mega Man 6. Well, I mean, I'm still not quite sure where Mega Man 6 ranks for me, because it's kind of unusual. Because it's like, that game felt stale, but also not stale. Innovative, but also unoriginal. It's weird. But this game is kind of innovative, because there are some neat things to it. And basically, for the Rush's Super adapter, it serves as a double jump. But I'm gonna show off as much of this stage as I can, just for the sake of it. And this stage is definitely more fun with the ZBrush Super adapter. It doesn't exactly require the Super adapter. That's not really true what I was saying, nor what I just said about this place requiring the Super adapter. That is not true. It would be kind of silly to require it because it's optional, and you'd end up with a scenario like in the original Mega Man game where you required the magnet beam, but it was optional to collect. They didn't give you it after you beat the Robot Master. And that would be pretty terrible. Spring Man, by the way, is a complete joke. He has a very simple pattern, and with his weakness, you can just keep attacking them, because using the weakness on them resets their pattern, and it can make most bosses a complete joke. And this place does not require the Rush Super Adapter at all. Well, maybe to find the Hyperbolt, but not to beat it. So ignore what I was saying, it's fake news! But in all seriousness, this stage is pretty good, I must admit. And the weapon that Springman gives you, the Wild Coil, is... yeah, I don't really like it. It's not terrible, but it's also not very good either. It kinda sucks. You can also make the Wild Coil bounce high or low by holding up or down. The game doesn't tell you this, by the way, but now that we've beaten Springman, I had to do that. But one thing about the Legacy Collection 2 version, it adds an auto-fire button. And, however, I am not going to be using it, so if I just shoot really quickly, then, well, that's because I'm just that quick at shooting. Nothing else to it. To be fair to the Wild Coil, it does come in handy against a couple bosses. We'll get to that later. Dr. Light? What happened? I was gone for 2 seconds!
Don't judge me! Is that you, Mega Man? Bass went berserk after I completed his repairs. He stole the parts for your new enhancements.
Bass? I can't believe it!
Believe it, Mega Man. Bass and Treble are my creations. I knew that you would be stupid enough to think he is your ally and allow him access to the lab. Now, Bass and Treble will use the enhancements meant for you and Rush.
I'll make you pay Willy. Wait, what? Why are we making Light pay Willy? That's backwards. We should be making Willy pay for his crimes. Freaking commas. Include them if you want to be understood. But let's check out the shop.
Hey.
That's my bolt. Thanks. It fits perfectly. So, yeah, now we've just reduced the price of items. That's what the Hyperbolt does. Now I can make items at full power. Look, a new item just for you. I can now make items using half the number of bolts. And so, yeah, we can now afford some things. So I'm going to get a few extra lives, and maybe some tanks, like energy tanks and weapon tanks. The weapon tanks, that's kind of interesting because it's like they say that, they imply that it only recovers one weapon's energy, but no, it actually restores every weapon's energy. So they don't really say that, but it's true. But I may as well buy, like, some... It may come in handy in the coming Willy Fortress. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing this, because it's like I don't think I'll even need to use an energy tank or a weapon tank. or the special tank, which is basically like the M tank from Mega Man 5, except that I don't believe it can be used to get extra lives. But yeah, that's all. We're going to start on Willy Castle. Willy Castle 1. And one thing that I feel I should mention is that Willy Castle actually functions differently from it did in previous games, because they were gauntlets in that you didn't get a refill of weapon energy when you finish one stage. And that's different in this game, where you do get a refill and you're sent back to the stage select screen every time you beat a Willy Castle stage. I have mixed feelings on that, but I just don't know what to make of that. Also, I just realized Shade Man is actually Batman. No, seriously, he looks like a bat, and he's a robot master. He's totally Batman. Okay, and speaking of info about robot masters, apparently Otto's good point is that he's pure and innocent. Okay, simple enough. But his bad point is that he's a troublemaker. Are you sure you got that right? That strikes me as kind of contradictory. Like, how is that the case?
And look at right here, I think now I need to use the Russia's super adapter in order to get that one up. If I can actually get it without getting hit, without Rush getting hit, that is. This is annoying. We're gonna have to speed this crap up. Looks like it. Well, I mean... Dang it, would you stop taking a hit? I just don't like how this game makes it so that Rush can take a hit. It is not good. I don't like that.
This is annoying. Like, that leads to some cheap deaths. And I don't like that. Like, seriously, who thought it was a good idea to make it so that Rush can take a hit? That's not good design. Because it's like you can end up falling to your death through things that are of no fault of your own. And thankfully, they removed that for future installments, so yeah, good for that. But I don't like that. And fortunately, Rush doesn't actually get harmed. It's not like Rush has a health bar or anything. You can actually, try and get... So there's an energy tank coming up that you have to be a bit gutsy to get. These platforming sections are made much easier with the Rush Super Adapter, and they actually kind of remind me of the platforms in excuse me, they kind of remind me of the platforms in Gutsman's stage. Because it's like there are certain times when you can't get on them when it's marked by certain places. Here's the energy tank I was talking about. Can also die from that. Why did I do that? I don't even need that energy tank. I guess I just have this urge to try and get it. You know what, screw it, it's not worth it. Let's actually try and fight Bass.
You are far too weak, Mega Man. Willy may fear you, but I do not.
So yeah, we actually get to fight with Bass. And he's fairly easy, actually. He's weak to the noise crush, isn't it? Just keep spamming it on him and he should go down pretty easily. I mean, if I can hit him. And I believe the charge one does more damage. Or, wait, what? I died! Okay, I died a lot off screen right there. And, well, the thing is, I found out that his weakness isn't actually the Noise Crush. It's actually the Thunderbolt, or at least I find that much more effective. Like, because you don't have to, like, worry about charging or anything like that. So yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. It's like, I could have sworn it was the Noise Crush. Just spam the Thunderbolt and he'll go down pretty quickly. I find him to be pretty easy. Round 1 goes to you, Mega Man, but I'll be back. Okay, so we're coming up on the boss, actually. The boss of Willy Stage 1. And it's actually a very easy boss, and it should look pretty familiar. Drumroll, please. I mean, like, it may be fairly obvious, but it's Gutsman! What is your deal, Willy? You are obsessed with Gutsman. But anyway, his weakness is actually the Slash Claw, and basically he drops boulders, but you can actually knock them back at him, and that does extra damage for that. And the Slash Claw is the only one that allows for that. And you can also get tossed into the ceiling and die. Yeah, you want to watch out for when he can grab you, because if he throws you up to the ceiling, then that hurts for mega damage. Like, seriously, you do want to keep a reasonable distance from him. But he's not that hard, you just need to watch out for his arm attack. And if you want to knock back the boulders, then what you want to do is to, like, hit them before he starts spinning his arm. Well, when he touches the boulder, that is. But yeah, he's a very easy boss. But they do get harder. In particular, there's a certain boss that we won't be seeing in the next video, but the one after that. So yeah, that's all for this episode, folks. Join me next time when we continue Willy Castle and reach the end, but we won't finish the game. See y'all then. This is the Mississippi King signing out.